So once again, you are welcome to Angel Health Academy. There is a fourth part of the video of educational objectives or taxonomies. The topic for the day is Taxonomy of Objectives, Psychomotor Domain. Educational objectives includes three domains: cognitive domain, affective domain, and psychomotor domain. I have already uploaded three part of the videos of taxonomy of objectives regarding cognitive domain, affective domain, and general or basic about the educational objectives. So this is the fourth part of the video that I would like to talk about psychomotor domain. There are three primary psychomotor domain that was introduced by E.J. Simpson in 1966, R. Dave in 1970-75, and A.J. Harrow in 1972. Psychomotor domain mainly concerned with the development of motor skills. Thus, the objective emphasis on motor skill, manipulation of materials and objectives, or some acts which require a neuromuscular coordination of neuromuscular system. The taxonomy committee did not produce a compilation for the psychomotor domain model, but others they already have. There are three primary taxonomies of the psychomotor domain. They are E.J. Simpson's Psychomotor Domain in 1966, R. Dave's 1970 Psychomotor Domain, and A.J. Harrow's 1972 Psychomotor Domain. Let us discuss in detail about these three psychomotor domains. First is Psychomotor Domain, introduced by E.J. Simpson in 1966. According to Simpson, 1966 Psychomotor Domain includes physical movement, then coordination, then use of motor skill areas. Physical movement, coordination, and use of motor skill areas. Development of these skills requires practice, and it is measured in terms of speed, precision, distance, procedures, or techniques in execution. So the psychomotor skills range from manual tasks such as digging a ditch, washing a car, to more complex tasks such as operating a complex piece of machinery or dancing, etc. The Simpson has been divided the psychomotor domains into 7 levels. They are: first is perception, second is set, third is guided response, fourth is mechanism, fifth is complex overt response, sixth is adaptation, and seventh one is origination. These are the 7 levels of psychomotor domain based on Simpson 1966 psychomotor domains. I have made a mnemonic for psychomotor domain, that is: Persian mobile setting guide is Mechanic Rao. So Mechanic Rao is a person who can only set the and is the guide to set the Persian mobile. You know that mobile has a settings. So Persian mobile also has got a settings that could be done well, or that could be guided by a Mechanic Rao. So remember, Persian mobile setting guide is Mechanic Rao. Let us expand this mnemonic. So Persian mobile stands for perception, setting stands for set, guide stands for guided response, mechanic stands for mechanism, R stands for response, that is complex overt response, A stands for adaptation, O stands for origination. Let us discuss in detail about the psychomotor domain according to Simpson. The first level is, level 1 is perception. That means awareness. It is the basic level which is concerned with the perception of sensory cues or sensory organs that guides into certain actions. This ranges from sensory stimulation, that is awareness of a stimuli, through the cue selection, that is the selection of the sensory organs, and finally to translation into the actions. So sensory stimulation, cue selection, and translation into action or action. The action verbs could be used in this perception, that is choose, differentiate, distinguish, identify, detect, isolates, relates, selects, etc. The example for perception, the first level of psychomotor domain is, the general example for perception is: estimate where a ball will land after it is thrown, and then moving to the correct location or position to catch the ball. Then second example is: adjust the heat of stove to correct the temperature by the smell and taste of the food. This also comes under perception. Then in specific example, detect the early signs of decubitus ulcer or bedsore. Detect the early signs of decubitus ulcer or bedsore. The second level is set. Set is nothing but readiness to act. ready to act. It is concerned with the cognitive, affective and psychomotor readiness. That is cognitive, mental, affective, emotional, psychomotor, that is physical readiness to act. These three sets are dispositions that predetermine a person's response to different situations. Sometimes this set is called mindsets, setting the mind. The action verbs includes begins, moves, reacts, shows, starts, displays, explains, moves, proceeds, volunteers, etc. The example for set, that is general example, is knows and acts upon a sequence of steps in a manufacturing process. Then second is recognize one's abilities and limitations. Recognize one's abilities and limitations. Third is shows desire to learn a new process through motivation. The specific example is reacts promptly to emergency situations during trauma care posting. A student reacts promptly to emergency situations during his trauma care postings. This is about set. The third level is guided response, which refers to early stages in learning a complex skill that includes imitation with the trial and error. So, imitation with the trial and error. Here, the skills are performed following the demonstration by the teacher. Skills are performed following demonstration by the teacher. The adequacy of performance is only achieved by practicing. The action verbs includes carried out, makes, performs, calculates, copies, traces, follows, react, reproduce, responds, etc. The example for guided response, general example is performs a mathematical equation as demonstrated by the teacher. Follow instructions to build a model. Then in specific example, perform bed making correctly as demonstrated by the teacher. Perform bed making correctly as demonstrated by the teacher. So the fourth level is mechanism, that is basic proficiency. This is the intermediate stage in learning a complex skill. So this is an intermediate stage of learning the complex skill. At this level, performance has become habitual. So the performance of the scholar become habitual. The movements can be performed with some confidence and proficiency. So it increases the confidence and proficiency in doing or performing some movements. The action verbs includes assembles, constructs, displays, fastens, fixes, grinds, heats, manipulates, measures, mixes, organizes, sketches, etc. The examples includes, general example is use a personal computer, use of a personal computer, repair a leaking tap, drive a car. This all comes under mechanism. Then the specific example includes calculate the volume of fluid required in the first day for a patient admitted with 60% burns and weighing with 50 kg. So calculate the volume of fluid required for the burn patient with 60% burns and with 50 kg weight. The fifth level is complex overt response. This is also called as expert. The skillful performance of motor acts that involve complex movement patterns. So in this stage there is a skillful performance of the motor acts. So proficiency is indicated by a quick, accurate and highly coordinated performance. Quick, accurate and highly coordinated performance in this stage, and it requires a minimum of energy, less effort. Then action verbs, it is actually similar to the level 4 mechanism, but will have adverbs or adjectives that indicate that the performance is quicker, better, more accurate, etc. The general example is operates a computer quickly and accurately. So, operate a computer quickly and accurately. Displays competency while playing the piano or guitar, etc. The specific example include perform endotracheal intubation correctly. Perform endotracheal intubation correctly. So this is about complex overt response, fifth level. The sixth level is called as adaptations. So the meaning of adaptation is the skills are well developed and it is internalized to such an extent that the student can adapt them to cater for special requirements or special circumstances in a new circumstances. So the skills are well developed in adaptation level and it is internalized by the student. The action verbs includes adapt, alters, modifies, recognizes, changes, rearranges, revises, varies, etc. The examples include, general example is, perform a task with a machine that it was not originally intended to do that work. So perform a task with a machine that it was actually not intended to do that or such a work. Then second is specific example. Modify sterilization techniques according to the type of articles to be sterilized. So modifies the sterilization techniques according to the articles to be sterilized. So this comes under adaptation. The seventh level is origination. The last level is origination. This is the highest level in psychomotor domain, which concerns the origination of new movement pattern to suit for a particular circumstances. So learning outcomes emphasizes creativity based upon highly developed skills. So it emphasizes creativity based upon the highly developed skills. The action verbs includes compose, creates, designs, originates, arranges, builds, combines, constructs, designs, initiates, makes, etc. The general example include constructs a new theory, develop a new and comprehensive training program. Specific example includes designs a splint to restrain the forearm of a child who is on IV infusion. So design a splint to restrain the forearm of a child. So this comes under the last phase of the origination. Next is the psychomotor domain according to Dave R. 1970 to 75. There are 5 phases according to Dave R. psychomotor domain. I have made a mnemonic that is IMPAN. I stands for imitation, M stands for manipulation, P stands for precision, A stands for articulation, and last N stands for naturalization. Let us discuss in detail about the psychomotor domain according to Dave R. First is imitation. The meaning of imitation is, at this level the learner will directly copy action which he has been seen or replicate what's directly observed. Then actually the performance in this stage or in this level may be low in quality. The action verbs includes copy, follow, mimic, repeat, replicate, reproduce, trace, etc. The general example includes copying a work of art or performing a skill while observing a demonstrator. Then another general example can be align car seat exactly as advised by the driving instructor. So adjust the seat of the car. Then specific example includes doing bed making, that is open bed, as a written demonstration. Doing an open bed as a written demonstration. The second phase is, or second level is manipulation. At this level the learner will reproduce activity by instruction. Reproduce the activity by instruction, reproduce the activities by memory. So it is reproduction of the activity by either by instruction or by memory. In short, being able to perform certain actions by memory or following instructions. The action verbs includes act, build, execute, perform, etc. The example for manipulation include, general example is being able to perform a skill on one's own after taking lesson or reading about it. Second example, follows instructions to build a model. So making a model by following certain instructions. Then look into the back and side mirror every time intended to take a turn during driving. The specific example includes doing bed making, that is open bed in the ward. So performing the bed making in the morning session in the ward. The third level is precision. At this level the learner will execute the skill independent of help, without help. Refining, becoming more exact. Here the refining the work and the activity and becoming more exact the activities. Performing a skill within a high degree of precision. Action verbs includes calibrate, demonstrate, master, perfectionism, etc. The general example for precision is perform a skill or task without assistance. Then demonstrate a task to a beginner. Then slow the car down in anticipation of red light without being instructed. So whenever red light has been seen during driving, to slow and stop the car. The specific example includes demonstrate bed making, that is closed bed for the juniors in the ward. So demonstration of closed bed for the juniors. Then fourth level is articulation. At this level, learner will adopt expertise. Is become expertise to complete a non-standard objective. That is, coordinating and adapting a series of actions to achieve harmony and internal consistency. The action verbs includes adapt, constructs, combine, creates, customize, modifies, formulate, etc. The general example includes combining a series of skills to produce a video that involves music, drama, color, sound, etc. Then second example is stop behind a parked car to give way to an incoming vehicle without any instruction. Then specific example includes doing special types of beds in the ward. The last level is fifth level, that is naturalization. At this level, the learner will automate the skills. Unconscious mastery of skills, complete mastery about the skill. So mastering a high level performance until it becomes second nature or natural without needing to think much about it. The action verbs includes create, design, develop, invent, manage, naturally, etc. The general example for naturalization is operates a computer quickly and accurately. Displays competency while playing the piano. Then pass a practical driving test by independently driving satisfactorily. The specific example is doing all the type of the beds in the ward during the morning shift or during the duty shift. This is about the 5 levels of psychomotor domain according to Dave R. At the last, psychomotor domain according to A.J. Harrow 1972. A.J. Harrow or Anita Harrow taxonomy for the psychomotor domain is organized according to the degree of coordination, which including involuntary responses as well as learned capabilities. So Harrow's taxonomy of psychomotor domain includes involuntary responses as well as learned capabilities. At the lowest level of taxonomy, it begins with the simple reflexes, while the complex neuromuscular coordination make up the highest in the highest level. There are 6 levels according to Harrow 1972 psychomotor domain. First is reflex movements. Second level is fundamental movements. Third is perception. Fourth one is physical abilities. Fifth one is skilled movements. And last one, sixth one is non-discursive communication. The mnemonic for the psychomotor domain of A.J. Harrow is the continuation of the mnemonic of Simpson, that is Persian mobile setting guide is mechanic Rao. So you can imagine that this Persian mobile is purchased through Amazon and now it is refunded by Amazon. We have given back because physical abilities and skills are required for non-disturbed communication with the Persian mobile. So refunded for Persian mobile because physical abilities and skills required for non-disturbed communication. Let us expand this mnemonic. Re stands for reflex movements. Funded for stands for fundamental movements. Persian mobile because stands for perception. Physical ability stands for same physical abilities. Skills required stands for skilled movements. And non-disturbed communication stands for non-discursive communication. Let us explain in detail about this psychomotor domain. The first level is reflex movements. The meaning of reflex movement is nothing but it's an action that are not learned in response to some stimuli, such as it is an involuntary reactions. So reflex movement is an involuntary reactions. Action verb could be used like react, respond, etc. Then example is it is an instinctive response such as flexion, extension, stretch, postural adjustments, etc. The second level is fundamental movements. So fundamental movements are the basic movements. That is inherent movement pattern which are formed by combining of reflex movements. And these are the basis for the complex skilled movements. The action verbs include grasp, throw, walk, etc. Example is walking, running, pushing, twisting, gripping, grasping, manipulating, performing a simple task, etc. The third level is perceptual abilities, which refers to interpretation of various stimuli that enable one person to make adjustment to the environment. That means the response to stimuli such as visual, auditory, kinesthetic or tactile discrimination. The action verbs includes catch, draw, write, etc. Example is coordinated movements such as jumping rope, punting, catching or track a moving object or recognize a pattern. The fourth level is physical abilities, that is related to fitness. Physical activities require endurance, strength, vigor, and agility, which helps or which produces a sound efficiently functioning, that is stamina, that must be developed for further development. So in this level, the stamina that must be developed for further development. Action verbs include agility, endurance, strength, etc. Examples are all activities which require strenuous effort for long periods of time. Then muscular exertion, quick wide range of motion at the hip joints, and quick precise movements. For example, run a marathon. Next is the fifth level, that is skilled movements. Skilled movements are the result of the acquisition of a degree of efficiency when performing a complex task. Actually, it is the advanced learned movements. The action verbs includes adapt, constructs, creates, modify, etc. The examples are all skilled activities obvious in sports, recreation, and dance comes under skilled movements. Then perform a role in a stage play or play in a set of series of sports games. Next is sixth level, that is the last level, that is non-discursive communication. Here, communication through bodily movements, that is actually ranging from facial expressions through sophisticated choreographics. Here, use of effective body language such as gestures, facial expressions, etc. The action verbs includes arrange, compose, interpretation, etc. The example is express oneself by using movements and gestures. So, body postures, gestures, facial expression, etc. efficiently executed in a skilled dance movements or skilled activities or in choreographics. These are the 6 levels of psychomotor domain according to A.J. Harrow. Let us summarize the topic of psychomotor domain. According to Simpson, there are 7 levels of psychomotor domain. First is perception. Perception is nothing but it is understanding through sensory organs, and that is able to use the sensory cues or organs. Example can be therapeutic communication, making a therapeutic communication, or in the level of manager, understand the supervisory role of the manager himself. That all comes under perception. Second is set, positive mindset to begin or ready to act something. Example is critical thinking, proper body mechanics, and in level of manager, initiate to lead a team. Then third is guided response. That is nothing but imitation with the trial and error. That is try to imitate. Example is perform procedure with the guidance of the supervisor. Then in manager level, planning. But of course there will be a chances for corrections for this type of planning. Then next level is mechanism. That is basic proficiency development. Example, perform a complex procedure independently. In manager level, manager able to supervise or plan independently and able to lead the team without any assistance. The next level is complex overt response. That is a skillful response. That is we can call in short expertise. So perform procedure with the scientific principles. In manager level, adopt different types of the or styles of the leadership. Next level is adaptation. In this level, there will be well-developed skills. The skills can modify according to special requirements. Example is able to re-modify according to the situation. That is emergency responses. That is practicing nursing in disaster management. Example is practicing nursing in disaster management. That is emergency response. In manager level, making decision in emergency situation. The last one is origination. That is creating. That is able to create new concept and new ideas. Example is create new project independently. Generate new concepts. In manager level, conduct in-service education program for the employees with the panel discussion, symposium, workshop, etc. So this is about the psychomotor domain. So thanks for watching. Hope this video really benefits in your studies. If you feel it is worth and benefits, please like, share and subscribe my channel. Stay tuned with the Angel Health Academy till we meet with another important educational video. Thank you.